Hi, welcome back. So, medyo nasa labas tayo today at malamig na. Pa-winter na. It's currently 14 degrees outside pero it's sunny so masaya pa rin lumabas. And today, I want to talk about money lessons that I learned by 45. At feeling ko marami akong share dito kasi ang dami kong mga kapalpakan pagdating sa pera eh. Imagine, since 2006, 20 years na. 20 years na ako nangingibang bansa. At ano pa lang ang napundar ko? Isang kondo sa Makati. That's it. I have nothing else to brag about, I guess. And so, I guess this message is something that I want to share dun sa mga, special sa younger generation, yung mga nag-uumpisa pa lang o nasa kalagitnaan ng journey nila. Kasi marami pa kayo yung time. Ako 45 na ako. I'm already thinking about retirement. And kung kaya ko bang mag-retire sa age of retirement dito, which is 65. Pag nag-retire ba ako, will I have enough saved up para mabuhay? Diba? So, I want to talk a little bit about that para na rin to warn yung mga younger generation not to take it for granted. I know YOLO, diba? So we wanna take advantage of the opportunity that we have kasi hindi naman natin alam kung ano mangyayari sa future and you only live once. Pero chances are you will live long enough to outlive your savings. And so if you don't start now, you might regret it later. So, eto. Earning more doesn't fix messy habits. That's my first lesson sa inyo. And I know this for a fact kasi 45 na ako, pero very limited pa rin ang savings ko because of my YOLO attitude. Diba? Parang ako, may bukas pa naman. Or pag may pera ako, alam mo yun, one day millionaire yung feeling. For a long time, I lived paycheck to paycheck. Not because maliit yung swahod ko, pero dahil ginagastos ko lahat. Yung para bang kating-kati yung kamay ko at sinisilihan yung puwet ko, kaya kailangan kong gastusin yung pera pag alam kong may pera ako. Ganon. I was looking at one of my accounts and realized na dapat meron na akong something over $60,000 in investments sa stock market. Kung hindi ko siya binenta para bumili ng mga bag. Isipin mo yon, inuna kong bumili ng mga bag na hindi ko kailangan, by the way. For what? Because I want to look rich? Because I want to impress people who don't even know who I am? Kasi gusto ko makipagsabayan sa mga tao, keeping up with the Joneses. Diba? And for what? Ngayon, nahihirapan akong ibenta yung mga designer bags na binili ko. They're all second-hand, by the way, from Japan. Diba? Nahihirapan akong ibenta because of the economy. Wala namang masyadong gumagastos ngayon. Or kung meron man, yung mga mayayaman talaga na, ba't ka bibili ng second-hand? May pera sila. Diba? So, yung mga kagaya ko na nasa, say, middle class or earns a little bit more than just enough. Diba? Hindi naman nila nagagastusin yung pera nila para sa walang kapararakan sa ekonomiya ngayon, diba? They're a little bit more, I guess, cautious of how they spend their money. So, yung investments ko ngayon, nasa a little under 20K. So, isipin mo, almost $42,000 I spent on bags. Na nakatenga ngayon sa closet kasi hindi ko mabenta. I initially thought, ang mindset ko kasi noon, bibiling ko, and when I'm tired of using it, I'll sell it. Pero hindi kasi siya ganun kabilis mabenta. And like I said, sa economy ngayon, hindi masyadong marami mga taong naghahanap ng luxury. Okay? So, kahit na over the years since I came back here, over the last almost 10 years, okay, lagi namang tumataas yung sweldo ko. Either mag-move ako ng work to get better pay or mapopromote, di ba? Pero tumataas din yung gastos ko. If you don't fix your bad habits of overspending or spending on things that don't matter, okay? Kahit gaano pa kalaki yung sinusweldo mo, you're always gonna end up living paycheck to paycheck kung hindi mo aayusin yung pagiging gastador mo. And when I say mo, ikaw, I'm referring to myself kasi ugali ko talaga yan. And every time, yung stress na dinadala ng walang savings, oh my God, wag nyo akong gayahin, I swear. I'm gonna tie that dun sa second, which is boring money wins. So, nung natutunan ko na tong lesson na to, which I have to say is quite recently, what I did was automate my savings and automate my investments. What does that mean? I've kept track of yung expenses namin sa bahay. And my husband and I split everything 50-50. So, alam ko kung magkano yung kailangang lumabas sa bank account ko sa fixed expenses namin or sa recurring expenses namin. So, pag dumating yung sweldo ko, lilipat ko na yung pondo para dun sa expenses sa joint account namin. And then, automated na lahat ng pagbabayad ng expenses doon. Ang hindi lang automatic doon ay yung pambayad sa groceries kasi nag-vary yun every time I go to the supermarket. The other thing that I've automated is, pag pumasok yung sweldo ko, that very same day, ililipat sa savings account ko a certain amount. And then, every week, meron akong automated investments. So, bumibili ng stocks. I have what's it called? I think it's called microfinance app. Yung Raise dito sa Australia. I think, pero merong version yung Smart Money at saka merong version yung GCash noon. So, anyway, basically, what I've done is, I've scheduled na every week, merong papasok na pera doon sa investment app na yon, so that it buys me ETFs. Yeah, hindi ko alam kung ano exactly ibig sabihin ng ETF, pero it's basically a basket of stocks, of the same or similar stocks in one basket. So I buy that every week. Kasi, leading to the next lesson na, ano yung sinulat ko? Time is more valuable than timing. Maririnig niyan sa mga nag-i-invest. At ang lagi nilang point of comparison or ang lagi nilang inspiration ay si Warren Buffett. Because they say na he's probably the best investor in the world at the moment. And si Warren Buffett, ang sinasabi niya ay hindi mo matatime ang market. Okay? Because you never know really what's going to happen. Right now, pangit ng market dahil sa US-Iran war. Diba? So, pero hindi ibig sabihin nun na hindi ka na dapat mag-invest. You can alter your investments para less yung risk mo. Pero actually, most investors, especially the seasoned ones, will tell you now na now is the best time to buy. Kung bagsak yung stock market kasi mura yung stocks, diba? And then, historically, even if the stock market falls, even if the stock market crashes, it will come up again. Diba? Time and time again, the Great Depression, ilang wars na ba yung dumaan sa atin, World War I, World War II, the market has survived. Okay? It crashed a few times, kahit yung global financial crash nung 2008 at saka nung 1998, nag-survive pa rin yung market, diba? So, yung Asian Financial Crisis 1998, yung GFC or Global Financial Crisis 2008, there was something in 2018 as well. Parang it's almost every 10 years may nangyayari. But time and time again, the stock market has survived. So, if you're trying to time the market, na bibili ka when it's low and then you're going to sell when it's high, the likelihood of you succeeding is not going to be very good. So ngayon ang mindset ko, pag bumili ako ng stocks, I'm not investing in the stock market to play the market. I'm not here for to time it. I'm here na for the long run, for the long term. Na I'm investing now with the thought na I'm not gonna use that money within the next 5 to 10 years. Because that's how you win in the stock market. Compounding interest, that's your best friend. Kaya time is more important than timing, because with compounding interest, the earlier that you start and the longer that you're in the market, the better it is. Because what that does is, for example, meron kang $10 ngayon and yung return ng market is 10% annually. So by the end of the year, you will have $11 and not $10 anymore, di ba? Kumita na siya ng $1. Pag sinabi mo compounding interest, yung susunod na taon, hindi na $1 lang yung kikitain mo, kundi $1.10. So, magiging $12.10 na yung pera mo after 2 years. Because it doesn't base it on your original investment of $10, but on the $11 that you've already earned. Ganon siya. Kagaya sa utang sa Pilipinas, di ba? Pag hindi ka nagbayad, compounding din ang interest nun. Kaya minsan mas malaki pa yung interest kaysa sa inutang mo. So, sumegway na din lang ako sa utang. Ito na rin yung sasabihin ko. Debt is a tool. Okay? Pwede mong gamitin ng utang as a tool to gain financial freedom. Pwede mong ilipat yung credit card debt mo sa isang zero interest credit card para hindi na siya nag-earn ng interest and you just pay off whatever it is that you owe. Pero, pwede rin naman yung mortgage. Utang din naman yun, di ba? Yung housing loan. For you to be able to buy assets. Assets that appreciate. Ang problema, ako for me, let's say, car loan. Kung pwede kang bumili ng kotse in cash, that's probably a better way to do it. Because vehicles depreciate. Pag binenta mo siya, hindi mo na siya mabebenta sa presyo ng pagkabili mo, lugi ka na. Diba? Unlike kung lupa or bahay at lupa na after some time, nag-appreciate yung value, kikita ka. Pagka umutang ka ng sasakyan, nagbabayad ka based on the price that you've bought it, pero yung value ng sasakyan mo bumababa. Diba? Nandyan din yung nangungutang ka. At ito yung, I guess ito yung isa sa mga natutunan ko rin sa pagiging gastador ko, is to never get in debt to buy something that's not necessary. Yung mga bag na pinagbibili ko, hindi ko naman siya binili using a credit card at hindi naman ako nabaon sa utang lang dahil sa credit card. Na ngayon, dati oo. Kaya natakot ako sa credit card eh. Pero what I realized actually is that hindi yung credit card ang may kasalanan eh. Ako, kasi wala akong control. Diba? If you know how to use your credit card, it could actually do you some good. Like for example, I've got an American Express card which nag-earn ako ng points doon. Tapos pag nagbayad ako ng annual fee, $450 of travel credit gets credited to my account. Tapos yung points, pwede kong i-convert into travel points. And so, nangyayari, depende sa kung gaano kadami yung points ko, nababawasan yung kailangan kong bayaran sa flight. Sometimes I can even get quote-unquote free flights, although bayad siya ng points ko, which I've already spent money on. Diba? It's about learning how to use the tool, not letting that tool use you. Diba? So, ingat-ingat. Pero ako, pag merong naka-charge sa credit card ko, I make it a point to pay it in full para hindi nag-earn ng interest. Kasi yung taas ng interest dito, 25%. Diba? Pag hindi mo binayaran by due date yung credit card mo, 25% yun. And then finally, freedom is better than status. And again, this I realized later than in life. Yung nakikipagsabayan ako sa pagbili ng mga designer items na honestly, sa ngayon, wala lang pakialam eh. Hindi na siya ganun ka-importante sa akin. Ang mas na-realize ko ay nung bili ako ng mga yan at nakikita kong na bumababa yung savings ko, yung stress nung wala akong pera sa bangko, Naggalaw ko pati yung emergency fund ko para magbayad ng binili kong bag. Yung stress noon, yung anxiety kapag may nangyari sa akin, wala pala akong nakatabing pera. Iba yun kesa pag meron kang savings eh. Yung freedom is better than status na sinasabi ko. I'm not just talking about freedom of being able to move around, but it's also being able to make choices. Yung halimbawa na walang ka ng trabaho, pero may ipon ka, hindi mo kailangang tanggapin yung unang trabaho ng i-offer sa'yo. Pwede kang mamili, may choice ka, may options ka. Dahil meron kang nakatabing pera na alam mo na kahit hindi mo makuha kahit hindi mo tanggapin yung unang trabaho na dumating sa'yo, hindi ka magugutom. Makakapagbayad ka ng renta, makakapagbayad ka ng mortgage, makakapagbayad ka ng kung ano man yung mga bills mo. Diba? Hindi ka mapupwersang tumanggap ng isang bagay na hindi mo gusto dahil lang kailangan mo ng pera. To me, that's more important. Mas mahalaga yung may ganong kang options kaysa yung napipilitan ka, or halimbawa, ayaw mo na sa trabaho mo kasi sobrang toxic, tapos yung boss mo pa, wala namang alam, di ba? Pero hindi ka makapag-quit, hindi ka makapag-resign dahil kailangan mo yung pera, kailangan mo yung trabaho because you live paycheck to paycheck. Or meron kang business idea na gusto mong simulan pero hindi mo masimulan dahil wala kang pampondo, wala kang pera. Or meron ka ng side hustle na hindi mo naman makwit yung 9 to 5 job mo kasi kailangan mo ng stable income kasi wala kang ipon. So kahit na yung side hustle mo, mas na-enjoy mo, hindi ka makapag-focus doon. Diba? Ang daming mong pwede sanang magawa or mapili, pero hindi mo magawa or mapili dahil kailangan mo ng pera kasi wala kang ipon. Kaya importante yung ipon because it not only gives you that safety net, but it also gives you options. So I hope that all makes sense to you guys. At kung meron kayong gustong idagdag or meron kayong money lessons yourselves na gusto nyong i-share sa iba, please leave them in the comment section down below. I think yan yung isa sa mga bagay na I wish were taught nung high school. Yung una, paano ba yung taxation sa Pilipinas or kung saang bansa ka man nandoon ngayon, diba? Paano ba mag-budget? I think it's important na sa umpisa pa lang, alam mo na kung paano ka mag-budget eh. Kung paano mag-budget para alam mo kung ano yung, saan napupunta yung pera mo. Look, budgeting is not about restricting yourself. It's about knowing where your money goes. Huwag kayo matakot mag-budget. At saka, it's a hard thing to do at the start kasi talagang kailangan mong i-track yung lahat ng expenses mo. Pero ang dami ng mga apps ngayon that would help you with that. Dito sa Australia, even your own bank apps will help you kasi manonotify ka ng lahat ng mga lumalabas na pera at pumapasok na pera sa bank account mo. Like, if I open my Commonwealth Bank account, makita ko yung lahat ng transactions. So I can keep track of where my money goes. And that's part of budgeting. And when you know where your money goes, you also know where else you can spend, where else you can save. If you need to cut back, you can. If you want to spend on something, you can. Right. So yeah, again, kung meron kayong mga gustong i-share na inyong sariling mga money learnings, leave them in the comment section down below. Maraming salamat. Bye.